Size doesn't matter. I repeat, size does not matter, but shape does, and I'll show you why. You know that outfit that you saw on the mannequin and you thought it would be perfect for your beach vacation? That billowy peasant blouse that tented out over the skinny crop jeans. But when you put it on, instead of feeling wistfully romantic, you felt awkwardly stout. I'll tell you why. Clothing doesn't look the same on different body types, and mannequin is not a viable body type. Actually, let's get away from body types because what we're really talking about is called proportion. Imagine an actual hourglass. I know it's cliche, but it is exactly proportioned, and because of that symmetry, it's pleasing to the eye. This is balance. Balance is necessary for a flattering outfit, not size. Size doesn't matter. Whether a 2 or a 22, balance creates the most flattering perception. It's what stylists use to make their clients look their best, and you can use it too. Whether your hourglass is fuller on top or bottom, or does or doesn't narrow in the middle, there are fashion tricks stylists use to create a more proportionate and flattering shape. Remember, there are no rules in fashion. There are, however, visually based recommendations when it comes to which clothes flatter which shapes. You'll discover much more about this in our next video, when you learn how to visually manipulate your proportion to achieve balance. But first, you need to identify your body shape to understand its proportional needs. And this is not as easy as you would think. Our need to simplify fashion with cut and dry rules led to the creation of a variety of shapes that women's bodies supposedly fall neatly into. But female bodies aren't that easy to classify. In fact, your body likely falls into more than one category. Celebrities are commonly mislabeled. For instance, the media calls any figure with a full bust, small waist, and big behind an hourglass figure. Yet statistically, only 8% of women, all women, truly have an hourglass shape. If the woman in question has shoulders wider than her hips, she's technically an inverted triangle shape. So she or her stylist successfully created the illusion of an hourglass shape. But the label isn't what's important, as you can see with the variety of shapes in this group. What we are ultimately trying to find is a way to visually balance your figure to create the illusion of an hourglass shape. So we need to know which part of you is fuller than the other. Which part of your hourglass do you need to fill to achieve balance? So, for learning purposes and until you have a firm grasp of your proportion, it helps to know which shape resembles you most. Now, you may be able to tell right away which part of your hourglass is the fullest, or it may be really difficult to know for sure. Most women are wrong about their body shape, so even if you think you know what it is, I'll show you how to take your measurements just to be sure. You'll need a soft tape measure to measure your shoulders, your bust, your waist, and your hips. It's best to measure without much fabric between you and the measuring tape to get an accurate number. You'll need someone to help you measure your shoulders properly. Find the notch where your shoulder bone ends, the highest point. Place the tape evenly across that point all the way around your back. For the bust, measure across the fullest part of the breast. Keep the tape measure even across your back and hold it just tightly enough so it's snug but it doesn't compress your body. Now the waist. Measure evenly around the smallest point of your waist. Keep the tape measure snug but not compressing the skin. For your hip measurement, measure evenly around the widest part of your hips and bottom, keeping the tape measure snug but again not compressing the skin. There are typically 5 body shapes that go by a variety of names depending on where you look. Now, you may have seen more than 5, which just illustrates my point that figuring out your shape can be confusing. Because we ultimately are seeking balance, I use the hourglass metaphor. So instead of food or shapes, for teaching purposes, I use labels that reference which part of your hourglass is emphasized the most. Using your measurements, let's identify which body shape resembles you most. Consider each of them before you decide. You may measure for one shape and still visibly lean toward another, in which case you'd consider recommendations for both shapes, but primarily for the one that your measurements dictate. I've listed defining characteristics as well as those that you might typically find with that body shape. You won't necessarily have all the typical traits, but you will have the defining characteristics because those are related to your measurements. Fuller in the middle, commonly called the apple shape. Defining characteristics. Your waist is wider than or the same as your bust, and your hips are the smallest measurement. Typical characteristics, which you may or may not have. Your shoulder and bust measurements are wider than the hips. This shape is usually slender with pretty legs, even with weight gain. You may form a V shape from the back, but your shape is straight in the front. This shape often has a flat bottom. You probably have soft, rounded shoulders and very little waistline and narrow hips. You'll gain weight in the stomach first, and weight loss will make your shape lean toward a soft rectangle or inverted triangle shape, but your body naturally wants to remain fuller in the middle. If this is your shape, these are your famous fuller in the middle friends. The reason I bring them up is that they often work with stylists, which makes them a reliable source for outfit ideas. Reese Witherspoon, Ava Longoria, Drew Barrymore, and the rest seen here all have fuller in the middle shaped bodies. Fuller on the bottom, or more commonly known as the pear shape. Defining characteristics. Your hips are 5% or more bigger than your bust and shoulders and are the biggest measurement. Your waist is the smallest measurement, and your shoulders are narrower than your hips. This can be very subtle and difficult to identify, or it can be more dramatic with small sloping shoulders and wide hips. Typical characteristics. You gain weight in your lower half first. You typically wear a smaller size on top than on the bottom, and you may have a hard time finding pants that don't gape in the back. Usually this shape has a rounded, full rear. Fuller on the bottom friends. These are some famous women who share this very common shape. Jennifer Lopez, Sandra Bullock, Kristen Davis, Michelle Obama, and the others seen here are reliable inspiration if you have this figure. Fuller on the top, or carrot shape. Defining characteristics. Your shoulders are more than 5% wider than your waist and hips. Typical characteristics. You have broad shoulders and an often defined musculature, very athletic looking. Your bust can be big or small. You have little to no waist definition. And you probably have a flat bottom, straight hips, and great legs. Fuller on the top friends. Here are some famous women who share this athletic shape. It's easy to find lots of outfit-inspiring photos of Amal Clooney, Jennifer Garner, Meghan Markle, and the others seen here. No curves or column shape. Defining characteristics. Your shoulders, bust, and hip measurements are almost the same, and your waist is less than 25% smaller than your bust. Typical characteristics. Typically, those with this shape are tall and lean and most often have a flat bottom. There's not a lot of waist definition. This is an angular, straight shape, not curvy. You can dress right off the rack, no alterations. You wear generally the same size on top and bottom, and your weight gain is proportional. No curves friends. Here are some very well-known women who share this shape. Nicole Kidman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Middleton, and the rest seen here consistently set great examples of how to dress with the no curves body. The hourglass shape. Defining characteristics. There is a dramatic difference between your waist and your shoulder/hip measurements. Your waistline is at least 25% smaller than your hips, and your bust and shoulders are within a ½ inch of your hips. Typical characteristics. You are soft, round, curvy, and there's nothing angular or straight about you. You can be busty to very busty. Your shoulder and bust are usually equal in measurement. Most often you have fuller thighs, but you don't have the rounded butt of the pear-shaped body. Yours is flatter. You gain weight evenly, and your waist may thicken with age. And it's almost impossible to find clothes that fit right off the rack. Hourglass friends. Here's some famous women who share this rare shape. Christina Hendricks, Salma Hayek, Halle Berry, and the rest are the ones to watch if you share this dramatic figure. If you're still having difficulty figuring out your body shape, don't worry about it. It's simply a starting point for understanding which part of your body to balance with the rest. You may already be fairly balanced if one measurement isn't standing out more than the others. The main thing is that you examined your shape. I'm going to share with you an exercise I do with you in my masterclass, how to discover your signature style and gain the confidence to wear it. In my last video, I showed you how to put together a My Signature Style board on Pinterest. Collect some red carpet looks of the women I've shown you who share your shape or shapes if you fall into more than one category. You can pin them to your My Signature Style board for now. You can always delete them later. Simply type their names into the search bar on Pinterest and a slew of photos will come up. For now, go for red carpet looks because those are most often done by stylists using tricks of the trade. At the end of the next video, you'll be able to examine the photos you pin and identify some of those styling tricks. Before you go, just a quick note on body shapes. Now, unfortunately, it's in our nature to be critical of ourselves. Please don't let your measurements or your shape affect your self-image. There's beauty in every shape and size, and one is not better than the other, no matter how much greener the grass may look. Trust me, every shape has its challenges and its benefits, and it's very rare to find someone who doesn't like something about their body. The only goal you need for your body is to keep it healthy. Shift your focus away from changing your body and instead toward making your wardrobe work at highlighting the things you like about yourself. Your next step is my next video where you'll learn how your shape can be visually manipulated to create the image you want others to see. And if you like more tips like this, you can join my VIP newsletter using the link below. I'll see you in the next video. I'll meet you there.